Hey, there we go. Welcome everybody. Rob Provencher here from NoBs Photo Success. I am the co-founder. And normally I'm with James Hodgins, who's also the co-founder of NoBs Photo Success, but he is not here today, so you got me. I'm all by myself. So, yeah, it's Thanksgiving up here in Canada. I know down in the States it's Thanksgiving in November, but we celebrate it a little earlier so that we can take advantage of the fact that we don't have snow yet. Anyways, I want to talk about a whole bunch of stuff with you today on today's episode. And the first thing I want to talk about is something called a Pico dolly. Ding! There it is. This is a little dolly, paid about $125. And what it does is it's got these little rotating wheels. Let me check it out here. See that? They pivot. What do you call that when they pivot? There's a word for it. Engineers know that term. And this has got, I had to pay a little, well, I can't remember if this came with it or if I had to pay extra for it. Is that called a reticulating arm? Yeah, the guy in the background's nodding, yeah. It's called a reticulating arm. Now here's what you do with this. You put a little video camera on there. What I've been doing is putting a G12, a Canon G12 on here. And what I do is at weddings, I use it just for weddings, I will spin this across the floor and videotape a horizontal pan. Scene, usually 10 to 12 seconds. Maybe at the bride's home, maybe in the ceremony, maybe of the flowers. Maybe of the rings. And it's just one of those things that I'm adding and have been adding to my wedding photography for the last 2 years. So I don't do a lot of video, but I do a bit, and I'm trying to make it exciting, trying to make it look a little professional, just like Steven Spielberg. But, you know, these tools, that's what they're all about. So I'm experimenting with adding a little bit of video to all my wedding photography, and I'm not sure that it's really working. You know, I'll let you know later, but every single wedding I've been photographing, I've been adding this little bit of video. And one way that I can tell if it's working is, well, yeah, they tell me. They say, Rob, we love that. So I'm just not hearing a lot of that feedback. So I'm probably going to have to get in touch with my brides and say, you know, what did you think of that video? What did you think of that effect with the Pico dolly that I had created on your wedding slideshow? So those video clips that I produce with the Pico dolly, and sometimes I use a shoulder cam, and sometimes I use a Merlin steady cam, which I've brought up in previous episodes. And I'm not bringing up today because it's Pico dolly time. It's just different ways to capture video, and again, 10-15 second clips in the slideshow, which I produce in ProShow Producer. So yeah, I just wanted to show that to you, and you know, if you have any thoughts, feedback, let me know. So it's a cool little toy. It was only like 125 bucks. It's got these really hard rubber wheels. The only thing I don't like about it is if you're on a carpeted floor or a tile floor, it gets a little bumpy and it just stops and goes. So you need a smooth surface. Oh, there's one more thing I like to do. So I like to turn the wheels in like this. So when you put the wheels in like this and you put it on a hard surface floor, it goes around in a circle. And I aim the camera down and I have the rings on top of the invitation. So I spin around. It's really cool. Yeah. So, just wanted to share that with you. All right, what else do we have? One thing I've been doing the last couple of years on all my weddings, I bring these cardboards, they're pieces of cardboard, and they're getting kind of ratty. And when I show up at a wedding, I often have these right in the front seat with me. Why? Because I often forget about them, so I have to put them there so I don't forget. And what I do is at some point in time after the ceremony, I get the bride and the groom to each hold one up. Bing, full length shot. And I put thank you on there in Photoshop. So now some of my brides show up with things like pumpkins. Or some of my brides show up with their own pre-made signs. And I've been noticing that trend lately too. So, but those who don't bring their own, I bring these. Now I do look around at weddings if there's something, I've not had a chance yet, but let's say for example I was at a farm doing the formals, or I don't know, just anywhere where you might be able to grab a sign or an old piece of wood or whatever, and if I can get them to hold those, especially if they are something that to do with the wedding. I'm not sure, but I'm always kind of looking out for things with which I can add thank you that they can use for, I don't know, for email thank yous, for printing out on their thank you cards. They can use them in any way, shape, or form. But what happens is when they really like these, when I bring these out on the actual wedding day, when I'm shooting the pictures, and I got the bridal party with me, I'll make sure I do this in front of the whole bridal party. And I get the bride and groom to hold those, and the bridesmaid will go, well, what's going on? And then I will say to them, well, I'm going to put thank you on there later. They think it's the coolest thing ever. Then they think I'm this like really cool photographer who comes up with these really cool ideas. So yeah, it's one of the bonuses and one of the reasons why I do that, because it makes me look good and it gets the bridal party allied with me and gets them excited. It gets them excited about my photography and the way I'm going to deliver my images to the bride and groom and to the bridal party. So another thing I do too is I show up at the bride's home with a marker. And if the bride's got lighter colored soles on the bottom of her shoes, I will get each of the bridesmaids to sign their first name, and do little cutesy little things. So, and then I get a picture of the bride holding the shoes. So yeah, just some ideas for you to consider for wedding photography. So I want to talk to you about Steve and Shelley Harrington, Team Steve. They come out of some little town in Utah. They have been a member of NoBs Photo Success since like the time dinosaurs roamed the earth. They've been around a long time and they've been doing some kick butt stuff. When I met Steve, he was a mechanic working full time, and he's for many, many years now, he's quit his job. Him and Shelley are running a very successful studio. They do amazing work, especially in the senior marketing. They've spoken at Senior Spa, what's it called?
Senior Portrait Artists.
Senior Portrait Artists, a big convention every year. And I think they've actually spoke at WPPI. But anyways, they've got a new product out. So yeah, I just wanted to give them a quick plug because they do such amazing work, and they've come out with some presets and some templates and some Photoshop actions. If there's anybody you want to follow, it's these guys if you want to really ramp up your photography in the senior market. So these guys are worthwhile checking out. Their stuff is absolutely amazing. So, and it all harkens back to the same idea. When you're looking at marketing, rule number one, first step, got to have a good product. That's where these guys fit the bill. So, all right, enough of that. I want to talk about goals. I'm kind of shooting around here, different ideas. If you know me, if you've seen me speak at the Inferno or anywhere else, I often talk about goal setting. I'm a big time goal setter, especially every January, New Year rolls around, I'm redoing new goals, 5-year goals, 10-year goals, 1-year goals, 30-day goals. And one thing you can do with which to ramp up your goal setting, well, I think it's important to have a vision board, which I have in my office. It's about yay big. And my daughter, who's now 17, she made a beautiful vision board for me last year for my birthday. It's like very artistic, and she's got the sun with the rays and rainbows and stuff like that, stuff that a 16-year-old girl would incorporate into her art piece. It's absolutely beautiful. So I took a picture of it and I created a digital file, and then I blew it up and I printed it out. And I stuck images on there all over of goals. I have a motorcycle on there because that's a big goal. I have a picture of this guy who's all ripped and thin and muscular and healthy because that's a goal. I have financial goals, camera goals, etc., etc., etc. So a vision board is very visual. Okay, you get to see it every day. If you're in your whatever office, you can put them in your bedroom, your kitchen, by the fridge, in your closet, in your hallway. Depends Depends how comfortable your spouse is with all that stuff. Well, one thing I did was a couple years ago, I was in Costa Rica. See, there's a picture of me on the beach holding two Nikon SB800s. You might have seen this picture before. So I went into Photoshop and I added some, orbs of light. Very easy. Go under filter, lens flare. Those are lens flares, okay? And then I printed them out. It would help if I showed it not upside down. And then I grabbed the magic marker, and you could see with the permanent marker in each one of the orbs, I added key goals that I'm after. So again, it's a very visual thing, you know. So I got a picture of me. I'm looking very, that I've got these orbs all around me. So you want to really add a lot of pizzazz and a lot of I don't know what the word is. A lot of spunk, funk, and enthusiasm, visually speaking, to your goals. So, you know, there's a lot of ways you can do that. You can have a picture of yourself on a horse, you can have a picture of yourself on a mountain, you can have your picture of yourself anywhere, somewhere that makes you look bigger than life, and then in some way, shape, or form, add your goals into that visual element. So, yeah, I just wanted to share that with you because I think it's a cool idea to start and always be doing goals. So, all right, what else did I want to talk about? You know, there's something I meant to talk about earlier. I forgot, so I'm going to go to that right now. I went shopping at Walmart a couple months ago. I picked myself up one of these fancy Walmart mirrors. And I think I paid about $12 for it. I can't see the price. But I learned this trick from Chuck Arland at the Inferno last year. Chuck Arland is from Kansas. Amazing, sort of a fashion photographer. He does seniors and weddings as well. He does some really cool work. And he has a piece of broken glass or mirror that he uses as a light source. And I tried that. I actually tried it lately on the Ditto cam that I shot through Photography Schoolhouse with the bridal fashion shoot. And all it is, it's just this mirror reflecting sunlight back into the subject. So a couple things you got to watch for. First of all, you do need sun, or at least a strong individual source of light. It doesn't work as well. It could work, but it doesn't work as well on a cloudy day. And you don't want to blind your subject. So, you know, I was very cautious to make sure that they didn't look directly at the sun. So it would kind of suck if I were using this as a light source and I blinded somebody. That would be like really, really bad. So I don't encourage that. Okay, so a little side tool. I've been bringing this with me on every single wedding for the last 6 weeks, and you know, using it as an extra light. If I want, if I find an opportunity, it's sitting in my car. If I want to add that extra different look, you know, and there's something to think about. You know, and I also have little LED flashlights that I use. That I use for lighting up the rings. And flowers and whatnot, invitation. You know, little LED lights, they're actually very, very handy. So, all right, before we tear the place apart, a couple more things I want to talk about, and I am done. I'm not sure if I talked about this before, but if I did, I apologize, but it's worthwhile covering again. I've been working on some flyers, which I have printed up at 5000guards.com. That's 5,000 guards, not cards. I'm sorry, it's 5,000 cards. It's 5,000 numerical. That's a 5, 3 zeros, and cards, CARDS.com. Very, very, very well priced, full color printing. 100 flyers, full color, two-sided, is about $30. Back in the day, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, that was near impossible to achieve. That would have been about $2,000, $3,000. Prices have dropped so much for full color. So, and I'm a big believer in using direct mail. So what I'm doing is I'm creating these packages. When people call my studio or email my studio or go online, they can fill out a form, and we are going to deliver information with them with these full color inserts with the information. So I got one for weddings, a lot of pictures. See, the weddings one has a lot of pictures. Got blue on one side, pink on the other, girl and boy. got another one for executive portraits, okay? Now this has got testimonials on it too. Now don't forget this, I don't just mail this. This goes with a letter, a sales letter, an information letter, maybe two-sided or maybe 2 pages, 4 sides. I'm not sure. I'm still in the middle of producing all this stuff. So the idea is to really combat the fact that people are so used to getting stuff instantly online, which is okay, but I want to create that bond through a more tactile approach. I'm just a big believer in direct mail. I also got one for Fairy Day. See that? Fairy pictures. Okay, so, and well, this is actually Renaissance. We got some Renaissance. You can tell those are different. Renaissance pictures are different. That's a fairy, and that's Renaissance. Different outfits, different looks. But we do Fairy Day twice a year, plus throughout the year we do Renaissance or fairy portraits. So when they book a session or when they inquire about any of these, we will send them 8.5 by 11 or a 9 by 12 envelope with, yeah, these are 8.5 by 11, so they would go into a 9 by 12 envelope with the extra printed letters, and it would give them more information. So we got one too on babies. So there's girl babies, and you guessed it, boy babies. Now I've got another piece added that's not back from the printers yet that I've decided after the fact, my wife reminded me to add another piece really focusing in on the baby's first year wall panel, which is one of our biggest sellers. So this is going to have 2 pieces, okay, as well as the additional sales letters. The sales letter, by the way, are just text with maybe some black and white images. It's not full color. And then I've got one for families, which unfortunately when I ordered these, I forgot to put the order in. They were there and I had them ready. They're ready. I just forgot to order them. So anyways, I just want to point that out because that's my marketing strategy that my studio, that I'm using in my studio lately. And now if you come out to the Inferno, November 2nd, 3rd, and 4th in Nashville, if you're watching this after the fact, after November 2012, the next Inferno will be in the spring. So go to the website infernoworkshop.com and check it out. But if you're coming out, if you're watching this before November 2nd, 2012, I'm going to talk a lot more and a lot more in depth about marketing. I'm doing a 3-hour presentation. I'm going to go over the basics of marketing and what it takes to succeed in your own photography studio. And I'm also going to talk a lot about a lot of the different stuff that I am using throughout the last year in my studio. So I pull in, not just hypothetical academic talk. I also am going to talk about stuff that is real, that I'm applying in my own photography studio. So not only that, James Hodgins is doing a 3-hour presentation. We got Travis Gadsby doing a 3-hour presentation. We got Brian DeMint doing a 3 or 4-hour presentation. We got Dan Freibalt doing a 4-hour presentation. These are some amazing top-notch photographers. I mean, just go check out their work on the website, infernoworkshop.com, and check it out. If you want to come into I think it's one of the best 3-day workshops in the industry. I know I'm missing somebody there. Barbara Yance is coming to do a 3-hour presentation. Who else am I missing? Anyways, it's all on the website. There's a couple night owl sessions. We got Buddy Guy, you know, the blues player? No, the wrong guy. Bill Guy, who's coming all the way from Colorado, who teaches Photoshop. He's a true Photoshop master. He's doing a 3-hour night owl session. And we also have a new addition. His name is Randy Sarton, all the way from Knoxville. He's going to be doing a night owl session on sports photography. The guy is an amazing sports photographer. And he's the real deal. He shoots a lot of this stuff. He's got the big lenses. You know those guys? He's a little guy with a big lens. He shows up and he's like, click, 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 click. Interesting, but you know, I'm always interested in what other photographers in different industries are doing. Even though I may never take up sports photography, there's always something that I will learn and be fascinated by and be inspired by. So I encourage you to check it out, infernoworkshop.com. So that's it. That's all I got to say for today. So we'll see you next time here at our studio at NoBs TeeVee with James, myself, and James. So thank you very much and take care, guys.